Welcome to Real Talk, Real Wellness with Alicia. I'm Alicia, a woman's holistic wellness practitioner, and this is where we get real, no fluff, no filters, just straight talk about what it truly takes to feel well physically, mentally, and emotionally. Let's get into it. Okay, people, I came across a clip recently of a woman, a lawyer from Africa. Her name was Naomi Pula, Pula, and she said something so simple, but oh so powerful. She said, and I quote, "You need to be okay with not being beautiful to everyone." When I heard that, I thought this needs to be spoken about properly. This needs to be unpacked in a space where women can hear it, feel it, and breathe it in. Because to be honest, so many of us are carrying wounds around beauty. I'm 52 years old and I have heard so many different things coming from so many different women about their looks, and none of it good. Okay? We carry sort of silent wounds, inherited wounds, generational wounds. And a lot of these wounds were never really ours to carry in the first place. We live in a time where beauty has become a currency. The way you look can determine how you're treated, what opportunities come your way, how people perceive your worth. And that is quite a heavy load when you think about it, especially for women. So we have to start cultivating an identity that exists outside of what people see. You cannot depend on the mirror of the world to reflect who you are back to you. Because if you do, you will find yourself in a pickle. You'll constantly find yourself adjusting, fixing, shrinking, exaggerating, wanting to add bits, take bits off of yourself, and that's fine. But are you doing this just to belong? And for me, if you're doing it just to belong, just to be accepted, that's not living. That is performing. And also personally, for me, beauty really begins with health. When I think about beauty, I think about function. The miracles, if you like, of what our bodies can do. My feet that carry me where I need to go. My legs that keep me strong and mobile. My hands that allow me to create. My face that expresses everything I feel. And yes, my face really does express everything I feel, even when I don't want it to. So yeah, maybe my legs aren't model like, and that's fine because they look like Alicia's legs. They look like my legs. They are Alicia's legs, and I love Alicia. That right there is the kind of self relationship we all need to start nurturing. Loving you because you are you. We need to start a relationship where we look at ourselves and say, I like me, I respect me, I'm grateful for me. I remember when I was younger, when I was a little one coming up, people used to comment on my nose when I was really young, actually. They'd say it was round at the tip. And I internalized that. I'd think, oh my God, maybe it's not the kind of nose that was considered beautiful. I just didn't have a beautiful nose. That's what I told myself. But now I look at my nose and I think it's beautifully unique. It's mine. And when I later studied traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, and one of the pillars of TCM is face reading, and I'll get into that one day with you all, I learned that my nose actually symbolizes prosperity and strength. So that was just another reason to love my unique nose. So what does that tell us? That tells us that beauty is cultural. Okay, beauty is contextual. And yet we've been taught there's only one way to be beautiful, and that's the European way. But there are many standards of beauty. You've got the Caribbean beauty, the African beauty, you've got the indigenous beauty, the Asian beauty, the beauty that carries history, lineage, story. And that's why what happened to Naomi was very painful. I felt so bad for her. This woman was publicly ridiculed simply for not fitting into the Eurocentric idea of beauty. She was called names. People were just leaving disgusting comments. I couldn't believe it, but at the same time I could believe it, that people could be that way, to a woman that I was looking at her and I saw nothing but shine and glow coming from her, so it was really sad. It was toxic, actually. Let's call it what it is, toxic. It reveals how sort of deeply conditioned we are to reject what doesn't look like what we've been taught to worship, if you like, definitely. And that's why we need a kind of emotional fortitude, a strength that comes from knowing who you are behind the appearance. Because if your self-worth depends on how the world rates your face or your body, you will always be chasing a moving target. Your sense of self has to be anchored within. Now, Yes, we need to build strong relationships with ourselves. Yes, but that doesn't mean we don't need each other. We're social beings. We do depend on connection, support, love. That is just human nature. But the balance is this: be in community, but don't let the community define you. Be open to love, but don't let love be your only mirror. Be inspired by others, but don't use others as your measuring stick. That's where real wellness starts, from the inside out. And from a holistic wellness perspective, this matters because your thoughts affect your hormones, your confidence affects your nervous system, your sense of identity shapes your whole energy, your frequency. You cannot be well if you are constantly at war with your reflection. So here's what I want you to reflect on today. Okay? What do you define as beautiful? Who taught you that? What part of yourself have you rejected because someone else didn't approve of them? And when you think about beauty, think about function, think about life, think about vitality. If your body allows you to walk, breathe, love, work, create, or simply exist, you are witnessing beauty in motion, beauty in action. Okay? And for the young women listening, don't let social media dictate your identity. Okay, girl? Filters, edits, comparisons, they all distort reality. Your beauty is found in your aliveness, in your glow, your softness, your wisdom. Stop trying to be beautiful to everybody. Just focus on being beautiful to yourself. Beautiful to yourself. Okay? Because that's the kind of beauty that radiates from the inside out. Okay, let's move on to our journal prompts for this episode. Number 1. Where have I allowed other people's opinions of my beauty to shape how I see myself, and what part of that narrative am I ready to release today? Number 2, what features, functions, or qualities do I genuinely find beautiful about myself beyond external validation or Eurocentric standards? Number 3, how can I honor the functionality of my body more? Its strength, resilience, and story, rather than just focusing on how it looks. Okay, well, if this episode resonates with you, share it with someone who might need this reminder. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until the next episode, stay grounded, stay glowing, and stay real.